Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of InsurTechLA, hosted by Gilad Shai. This week I have the pleasure to talk with Sidd Gavirneni. Sidd is the CEO and co-founder of Zeguro, a cybersecurity and a cyber insurance company focused on small and mid-sized businesses. Now, Zeguro is based in San Francisco. It is changing the way SMBs approach cybersecurity through its cyber safety solution combining risk assessment, mitigation, and insurance. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me, Gilad. I'm glad to be here, talking as if I'm in Los Angeles, not San Francisco anymore.
Yeah, well, nowadays everything is global. So while we are, or to be precise, as you can see, I'm from my home office, like most of the people.
Yep.
Well, we are broadcasting to everyone, right? So first of all, thank you very much for joining me. And because we're recording it on a Friday, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I'm ready for a glass of wine.
Well, I'm still with my espresso, so you'll excuse me for that. But how's your week so far?
It's been good. It's been busy as usual, which is always great in startup world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there should be a slow day any day. So I'm excited about that. That even Friday, the end of the week in the insurance world is still busy and exciting. So I cannot complain at all.
Oh, they said that's for sure. In insurance, most definitely, it's every day is another.
Yeah.
It's another busy day. And startups, weekends, not weekends, and nowadays in the Corona. Now I have no idea what day it is. Luckily, I have a calendar that tells me, oh, it's actually Friday, because days are just meshing.
Yes.
And think about it that, frankly, without politics, with all the news, everything just meshes together. We had a week with taxes, with debates, with other debates, with all kinds of different things that came in and out. And yeah, doesn't matter what you vote, go and vote.
Yes.
It's
Agree.
been interesting.
Yeah. I think 2020 has been interesting, but I don't think 2021 will stop being interesting either.
Yeah, most definitely Q1, maybe even Q2 will be sort of 2020,
Yep.
but hopefully we're going to pass that.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's hope for the best.
Well, it's up to many people, and sometimes it's also up to us, especially when we need to wear a mask and be a little bit of respectful for the health of other people. Now, before I talk about personal security and health, let me jump a little bit and actually dive into the insurance part. So you are a cybersecurity and cyber insurance.
Yes.
Which one comes first?
It very much depends on the customer.
Okay.
So every business, I mean, especially small businesses, when we talk small businesses, we are really talking about companies with, let's say, under 100 million in revenue. So the small to the lower end of the mid-market. And the number one thing that all of these businesses need or want to focus on is revenue, right? Like every company. And what ends up happening is that a big driver for cyber insurance and cybersecurity is either regulation or large enterprises requiring these smaller businesses to be secure and have cyber insurance so they can sign a contract with them. So as a result, we get customers coming in either for security or for insurance. And in both scenarios, at the end, they end up getting both of those. And that's because they need to go together. In the insurance space, everyone talks about connected insurance, but when they do that, no one really talks about cyber insurance in the aspect of connected insurance. They talk about, let's say, a device in a car that will give real-time insights into the driving behavior of the driver, which will impact insurance premiums, but not about cyber, when cyber should be, by definition, the most connected form of insurance. So that's really how we do it, and that's why customers can come either way, either through security or through insurance.
So, and that's great. Now, let's give a little bit of background to people who are not familiar with what the hell is cyber insurance. What does it cover? Because there are several products that are out there, and what are they covering?
Yeah, cyber insurance is fairly new. It's about 15 years old, which is a baby in the insurance world.
Yeah.
And in these SMB space, most companies are not really aware as to what it does and why it's needed. But it will cover for almost anything related to a cyber breach. So let's take ransomware as an example. If a business faces an extortion threat, then insurance will come into play. It will help recover that data or unencrypted data, or it might also pay the ransom if needed. Paying for any legal costs if there's data loss. Let's say the business gets hacked and the company loses employee or customer data, then bringing in public relations to mitigate the damage to reputation, bringing in lawyers to help with any lawsuits that the company might face from employees and customers. Or if the business is down for, let's say, 2 days, then paying for any lost revenue or even paying for any operational expenses to help the business come back up on its feet. So anything and everything that is related to a cyber breach will be covered by cyber insurance.
Gotcha. So between something, I know that's actually not a good example. I've been thinking disaster recovery. The classic example, of course, is Sony, that they had a big breach. I don't remember when it was, but that was a big thing that they tried to cover. It was exposure of thousands of HR files that they had, and they kept, popping up all over the place. That's a classic enterprise cyber, breach, and also required for the cyber insurance. So how does it work for the small business? Because there is a lot of education that most likely is required, right? Because if someone is going to tweet and put aside the breach, the data breach for now.
Yeah.
If someone, one of your employees is tweeting something which is super stupid, and basically it ruins your non-tangible asset, your brand name, how can you help?
So an employee tweeting something that might not necessarily fall under cyber breach. That's more errors and omissions or one of the other lines of insurance. Now, when it comes to cyber breaches with large enterprises, when you talked about Sony or Equifax or Target, I mean, they have enough cash in their banks to deal with these breaches in addition to insurance. Right? But for smaller companies, last year, 69% of SMBs had a cyber breach, which is ridiculous. It's a huge number. And the average cost for a small business when there's a breach is about $3.6 million.
How much?
And this includes everything, whether the dealing with the breach or the monetary loss as a result of it, the business interruption losses, all of these. And that is why cyber insurance really should be part of every insurance policy. I mean, it should be a standard. Like today, if you want to operate a business, you need all of the lines of insurance, but cyber insurance is still not a requirement. I think at some point we'll get to the point where it will become a requirement, but I think it should be sooner than later.
So how is it being sold today?
Today, most of cyber insurance is being sold the same way as traditional insurance, any other insurance, which is through brokers.
Okay, so here, of course, the follow-up question. Now, the brokers and agents, do they understand what is cyber insurance or cyber security? Can they deliver that sale?
Some do, some don't. Right? Those who do, it's great. It's amazing to see that, right? Because cybersecurity is not for everyone. Even a CTO at a tech company is still not a security professional because they still don't understand and have the same skill set as a security professional. So you can't really expect a broker who's been in the insurance space for 20 years to understand the ins and outs of cybersecurity. And that's where the goal really has to be about making cyber insurance and cybersecurity just easy and approachable, not just for the brokers, but also for the customers who go through the brokers. Right? That's really how it needs to be done. And again, to answer your question, like some brokers do understand it. They are able to better advise their insureds on what they should get, what limits they need to have, and so on. But most of them still do not know how to approach it.
Gotcha. And that's a big gap because when I'm looking today at the agents and the future of the agency, it's to be the advisor. That's their added value. It's not just to go out and to find the next customer, the next policy holder, and maintain some sort of relationship and brand recognition for different carriers. It's actually provide that expert advice because otherwise, everything which is simple to underwrite, you should be doing that online because it's fast, it's
Exactly.
almost a commodity, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where, that special advice of understanding this is the coverage that you need, or to be
Yes.
precise, the coverage that your business needs
Yes.
to have that 360 security or economic, let's call it safety net.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting, that will require a little bit of education.
Agreed. And if we look at some of the recent surveys, most businesses or insureds are looking for a holistic solution from their insurers, right?
Yeah.
They are asking insurers to also help them with risk management, not just insurance. And it's in the best interest of the insurers as well. The goal is to decrease claims, is to keep loss ratios low. So why not help the insureds with risk management as well?
Now, with your, I'll go a little bit back to the risk because I'm sure that you're leveraging your cyber security
Mm-hmm.
technologies in order to understand better the risk and reduce that. What are the different tools that you provide your customers, your policyholders?
A few. So our goal here has always been to make cybersecurity approachable because most businesses don't do anything about cybersecurity since they don't know what to do.
Mhm.
And they don't want to go pay $400 an hour to a security consultant. Um, it's just expensive. So they
Now we are
just put
talking about, sorry, I'm sorry to cut you in the middle. So we're
please.
talking about SMBs. So what type of customers? Who are your customers? Chain
Um,
shops? What are we talking about?
yeah. So businesses that have some online presence, an online presence, or businesses that are using cloud platforms.
Mhm.
So typical examples would be, all the B2B startups are a great example. But also now it's almost every company. Like some of our customers are in the healthcare space, well, quite a few, whether it is medical offices, dentists, but also B2B companies that are providing services to the medical sector,
Yeah.
or real estate companies like brokerages
Mhm.
who have so much financial data or information about their customers. And there's a lot of money that gets transferred in this real estate ecosystem, and they're quite prone to cyber attacks.
Yeah.
So anyone who is working online, so you can imagine.
Almost everyone. Actually, I would say 99 of yes.
Yeah.
Now, no, and this is super important because that gives us a little bit of context because
Yes.
most of those guys, technology, online, digital, whatever the synonym that you want to use here, IT, it's an expense. They
Yes.
don't have that capability or capacity in-house.
Yes.
Okay, great. I interrupted you enough. So
Yes.
you're providing them with online tools to
Yes.
manage their cyber risk better.
Yes. And it's really about getting them started, right? So
Mhm.
today, they don't do anything because they don't understand it. So it's really taking that role of a security consultant and bringing some of those aspects into a self-service SaaS platform. So today in the platform, we provide all the IT security policies, the best practice recommendations, which they can customize based on the business needs, which they can maintain, and that becomes a audit trail for all of their audits, whether it's PCI audits or HIPAA audits. We provide all the employee training, right? But the way that we do it is we try and understand every employee's security knowledge. And based on that, everyone gets a different training each month. Because again, the goal is to address the most critical risk first rather than providing the exact same cookie cutter training to every employee each month.
Gotcha.
Uh,
How's the claim
and
process working? Or
sorry, what do you say?
I jumped already to the end, which is the
Yeah,
claims process. How
let's
is
do
that?
it.
How does it work?
Yeah. So far, we have had no claims.
Well, that's a
Uh,
great selection of risk, my friend.
yep.
Wonderful. That's a best combined ratio ever.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
awesome.
No claims. Most of our customers who come in for insurance also use the security platform, so that helps decrease the risk,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. Right? Those who are using the security platform, they see that yep, their insurance premiums can be much lower. So once they take different actions in the platform, they get insurance. Right? So this balance has definitely helped us keep our loss ratios at zero.
That's fantastic. Now, you guys are an MGA or
Yes. Mhm.
MGA? Is it your own program or who is your
Um, yeah.
company?
So the pen and paper is by HSB, Hartford Steam Boiler,
Mhm. Yep.
which is part of Munich Re. And they are an outstanding strategic partner because through the pen and paper, we have that flexibility to change the premiums based on the security profile of the business.
And we've seen that they've taken really deep, big steps in this space. Having you are not the only cyber insurance company. They have a couple of others that they're working with.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting in terms of the segmentation in the
Yes.
market and how they manage the overall, especially from a reinsurer.
Yes.
It's very, it's very interesting to follow the reinsurers and
Yes.
how they sort of playing chess with all the different entities. I'll
Yeah.
give a lot of credit for being smart like that.
Exactly. Because at the end, most of the premiums end up with the reinsurer anyways, whichever route they go. So that's the goal for
Yeah,
them.
it's like you'll have a little bit of my risk, I'll have a little bit of your risk. Let's
Yeah.
say, can you sell it better?
Mhm.
Fabulous,
Yeah.
amazing, great.
And then working with HSB also makes the claims process easier. Right? So we don't handle the claims ourselves.
Mhm.
If a claim gets reported, it goes straight to HSB. They immediately handle it, and they have the bandwidth, they have the resources, they have a great panel. So we leave the claims process to them.
So you're acting as a program administrator, and basically here is the underwriting, doing all the, let's call it the distribution and the heavy
Mm.
work on that part.
Yes.
How long have you been live?
So the company started a little over 3 years ago. So we were the first cyber insurance startup,
No kidding.
and we launched the insurance product about 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and the security product about a year ago.
Gotcha. And without too many numbers, how sales going on? Good.
Going well. We go direct to customers. We that has been working great for us. So if you search for cyber insurance, we will show up first in Google.
So
Uh,
you're selling direct, and are you selling with the agents or not?
no, we are not today.
Okay. Yeah, that a little bit takes me back to the beginning of the conversation about the agents and brokers and the education and when and where do we actually, offering them,
Yes.
which is, we can talk about the margins and is there enough space, wiggle room in order to compensate them and to give them the right incentives. But that's a different story. So you've been
Mhm.
up and running for the past, so 2.5 years, selling 4 years. How did you get into insurance or to cyber? Which came first for you?
Cyber. So
Cyber.
I've been in cybersecurity for about 20 years now.
20 years.
Yep.
What 20 years? You look 25. What are you talking about?
I know. I wish, right? So good looks. It's good genes. Thanks to my parents.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I've been doing it for 20 years
It's
since
the age of
about
five. I've been.
2001. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So being in cybersecurity and then before Zeguro, in my last job, I was on the information security board of a company and they had a data breach, typical phishing attack. And that is when we were dealing with cyber insurance and realized that, no, it's just painful. And this was a large publicly traded company. So if a company like that had all these issues, then of course, smaller businesses just had no idea what to do. And as we dug deeper into it, started realizing that, yeah, the SMB space is the most underserved sector today, both when it comes to cybersecurity and cyber insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed commonsensical to just have this holistic combined approach. And that's what we are.
So you work for a big company, cyber, for many years. And how did you do the leap? Because, enterprise,
Yep.
be comfortable,
Very.
startup, holy shit, what's going on? What am
Yeah.
I doing today, tomorrow, yesterday? The customer loves me, the customer doesn't love me. I have a career, no, there is no appointment,
Yeah.
money, investors, etc.
I know the highs are amazing. The lows are, yeah, not that great. So, but I, as I mentioned, I've been around in the cybersecurity space for a while, and started off as a coder. I was a software engineer for a while, and then quit my job. I was like, okay, I prefer the business side of things, so quit my job, got my MBA, and then I was a product and security consultant for companies like Symantec, McAfee, and so on. And then ended up at Polycom, the telecom company. And when I saw all these issues with cyber insurance there, I was like, yeah, I've been wanting to do something of my own for a while. Just never really had the right idea or never really felt passionate about any of the ideas that I had in mind. And this seemed like a perfect problem to solve using the skill set that I had. So it was a natural way for me to get into being an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's very cool. And I had the opportunity to build a couple of companies. And I think it's very, one of the challenges, you need that first thread of traction. Is it the customer, the team, the investor? There are all kinds of things that we can play, especially and coming already with the domain expertise, it's super important.
Yes, super important. Exactly. And all of those things came together quite well for us. So that's why we are still here and making inroads into our next phase. The team, for example, is an outstanding team. So Abby, who is our head of insurance, well, we call her our queen of insurance. She has been in the insurance industry for about 35 years now, and she is outstanding. Like, we cannot walk on the streets of San Francisco or New York without people in the insurance industry just stopping us on the streets and saying hello to her. That's the kind of power that she brings. And the rest of the team is just outstanding. So that came together really quick, and we are still a very strong team, everyone from day one. So, as you said, a few things need to come together, and that happened with us.
And that's amazing. I think that a team is one of the most important things, and especially when you establish your Avengers, in this case, Avengers of security.
Yes.
And you launch them on a mission of cybersecurity or cyber insurance in this point.
Yeah.
It can be only the limit, right?
Yes.
Oh, that was great.
Right.
So what's next?
Ooh, what's next? Well, 2020 is almost at an end.
Did you hit your Q4 goals already?
Yep, we are on a good path. I won't reveal a few things, but you might see some press releases coming up next week. So that's exciting.
We're looking forward to that. We can hold on this and record after you do them, but most likely we'll do it before, then we'll just cover
right
after.
Exactly. So excited about a few things that are coming through this quarter, and then that only means that 2021 will be amazing for us.
Mhm. Anything? Well, okay, we will just need to wait and see, right?
Yes. Yep.
Not that I'm trying to get a little anything else from you on that part, something that will give us, okay, you launched, now what? Like,
Yep. It's not. I mean, we already launched, right? So, but it's really about a key partnership that we'll be announcing next week.
because that will be very interesting to see. You have a niche product, which is still a huge niche. It's still a blue ocean. Everything in insurance, we say, oh, it's a small niche, but that small niche is of
Yes.
5 billion today with
Yes.
a TAM that can increase up to 50 billion at least.
Yes.
I have no idea how COVID, which most definitely impacted SMBs and as a result, most likely impact you and other line of business. But after that, when I take that analogy to what we've seen with other MGAs that grew
Mm.
up and started to buy fronting companies
Yes.
and to work with other partners in the field, we can use Hippo as an example.
Hmm.
How would that how would that happen in cyber? Is it possible? Is there that?
Definitely, I think so, because cyber, even today, it's growing at 27% year over year,
Mhm.
which is outstanding. And the adoption in the SMB space is still very low. So it's still a minefield there. Uh, but at the same time, I think that all of the challenges that we face with the SMB adoption of cyber insurance, they're slowly going away because the awareness is going up, requirements are going up, whether it's regulatory requirements or contractual requirements. So businesses are demanding more cyber insurance now. So there's definitely that change that we will see happen. And of course, quite a few cyber insurance companies will be at that stage. Like, for example, Hippo is not the only one in the space that's going that route, right? Lemonade, Hippo, and so on. And we'll see the same thing with cyber insurance.
Both of them have a little bit of a different philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
They have done, I think that Hippo has done more partnerships and acquisitions, which is from an
Yeah.
MGA point, it's a little bit, I would say, surprising.
Yes.
Lemonade, they've done their IPO, and there are so
Mm-hmm.
many people out there that are super happy about it.
Yes.
Many the investors. Um, but back to your stuff, because we are reaching sort of the end and sort of the end of the conversation.
Yes.
So tell me about something about you. We touched the insurance. We talked about security, your path into security. Are you reading any book nowadays? Anything interesting? Or
Uh,
going to Netflix? What's going on?
I do enjoy Netflix for sure. Yeah. No, no, but honestly, like even 30 minutes of TV a day, I just forget everything else, reset my brain, and then get back to business.
Any
But
any recommendation?
oh, I've and now Succession again. That's all about business. So I guess that's why I find it interesting
Hmm.
on HBO. But that's one of my favorite shows. Um,
Listen, I got to follow little animals or little the world of little animal or little things.
oh,
Something like that. It's an Apple Plus. Basically, it's looking into the small animals that
oh, cool. That does sound
in
interesting.
nature. Yeah,
Yeah.
surprisingly, a nature show after
Yes.
years that I haven't seen
Yeah.
one.
But yeah, outside of that, I think I COVID has given us that time to, be home and just work on house projects. So
Mhm.
our next big project is painting the house. So, that's not a small thing. So we're excited about that. That's what this weekend will be about.
Gotcha. Well, I picked up sourdough baking, like many other,
Yeah. Hmm.
many others.
Yeah, I can bake. It's it's too precise. I cannot follow recipes, so baking is out of the question for me.
Yeah, you play with it. You get one good, you get one horrible. You put in the master. It's fine.
Yep.
You eat it. You're super happy. Then you remember that it's full of gluten. You're still happy because it's so freaking. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I let some people on our team do the baking and still eat it and get the benefits. So they handle it.
I think that the only benefit of baking is happiness. Anyway, Sid, thank you very, very much for your time. I enjoyed the conversation. It's been great time to talking to you.
Great. Thanks, Gilad. Thanks for having me, and talk to you all soon.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
And